Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World, and a very happy Friday for everybody here at Prime Sports World. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point Up, and on today's episode of The Prime, we're going to dive into the first round of the 2026 NFL Draft. We're going to give you our winners and losers, our best and worst pick. TJ Hopkins should be joining us moment here shortly, as we got only a few more hours before round number 2 starts, and there are some really good football players still on the board for many of these teams in the NFL to take with their picks. So we'll see how these things end up shaking out when we do the full draft recap next Tuesday, which we should be joined by the DailyBlitz.blog's own Christian Simpson. Just thoughts and prayers out for you. Christian is going through a tough time as another one of your family members passed away. I love you, buddy. Thoughts and prayers are out with you and your family. But yeah, let's talk about round number 1. It is in the books. It started with the draft pick of Fernando Mendoza and finished with the draft pick of Jardarian Price, the other running back out of Notre Dame. And yeah, TJ Hopkins should be joining me here momentarily as we go through the winners and losers of the round number 1 of the NFL Draft. If you like what we're doing here at Prime Sports World, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as we give you guys consistent content, including tomorrow. We are going to be busting out more WWE content with the WrestleMania Week edition. We'll talk a little bit about what happened on both days, Saturday and Sunday of WrestleMania, talk about my experience at WrestleMania. And then talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw, and then talk about what's going to happen on SmackDown tonight. If you are a wrestling fan, then you already know. But a bunch of the members of the Wyatt Six have also been released, including Bo Dallas, Joe Gacy, and Nikki Cross. So that faction is officially finished in WWE. They just never really got a chance to really get going on the main roster. Just tough. Hate to see it, because Bray Wyatt, if you don't know, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. But let's talk about the NFL Draft as round number 1 is now in the books. We're going to recap you. We got the winners, losers. We got our best and we got our worst pick. While I wait for TJ to come and join the show, I'm just going to talk a little bit about some general stuff. First of all, just the winner is the city of Pittsburgh. I thought they showed out for this NFL Draft. They were loud and they were proud. I also thought the video package that was put together before the Pittsburgh Steelers pick in this particular draft was really cool. If you haven't got a chance to see it, it's a really cool montage segment, including live music, and it looks great. It sounds great. It's just a very cool moment. And the other thing that I thought was a big winner on in terms of a production side of things, the new 8-minute pick timer, I think was a huge win. This draft was over basically around 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Usually these NFL drafts, I mean, it's like midnight and we're still in the middle of picks and teams are still making selections. It's not a good recipe for success for the NFL. I think having the draft be quicker, there's no reason that a team, if TJ were here, because I know he hates pomps and circumstance, but if TJ were on the show right now, he would talk about how there's no NFL team that needs 8 minutes to make a draft pick. Like 5 should be more than enough. 10 felt egregious and way too long. 8 feels right, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I think the new pick timer, I think that stuff all really worked in the NFL's favor. And I think, the city of Pittsburgh also being just a really good football city, had a really good showing in this particular mock draft. And I think I might have had some friends who live in Fort Wayne who may have made the trip out. If you did make the trip out, let me know down in the comment section if you were in Pittsburgh for the draft, and if you're going to be in the draft tonight, or if you're going to be in the draft on Saturday as well, as we got 2 more nights of the NFL Draft. Let's talk about a loser, just a kind of a fun loser here. Any of the mock drafts that I correlated over the last month and a half, outside of Fernando Mendoza, I do not think I got a single pick right outside of that for the entire mock draft. And I put together 5 mock drafts. Yeah, 5 mock drafts. 3 of them were full mock drafts. One of them was just the 20 picks, and the 2 of them were just top 10 picks. I do not believe I got a single pick correct. I know I did take the Chiefs who take up Mansour Delane. I did not think that they would trade up to get him. I'll add you in just a second, TJ. Hey, TJ, welcome to the show, man. Doing
Appreciate
just just doing some real quick housekeeping stuff before we get into actual winners and
you. Yeah,
losers. My first loser is my personal mock drafts, as I did not get a single pick right in the mock draft that I literally did with Matt James. Was it yesterday? Oh yeah, yesterday. I didn't get a
yeah.
single pick right in that mock draft, not one.
See, I think like that's the beauty and the
Like,
madness and the craziness of mock drafts.
I mean,
Like,
obviously, I got Mendoza right. Like, I got that pick right.
oh
But
yeah,
even if you
yeah.
go through like all four of the mock drafts I did before this one, I don't think I got more than five right on any of them. Like,
Like that,
come on.
like that's the again, that's the craziness of it. So like I understand like they do it because it's their jobs. They literally get paid to do it, but like the Field Yates and
By the way, I
the
don't.
Dan
It's
Orlovsky's,
just
the
a real
Bucky.
quick side note here about Field Yates. I don't watch ESPN anymore because I don't have cable. I did
Mhm.
not. Well, he like grew his hair out something fierce. I did not expect him to look like
Like
that.
the Dan Orlovsky's, the Bucky Brookses, the Mel Kipers, the Ty McShays, like they do before the draft order is even
Yeah,
before the draft
solidified.
order
Yeah, solidified.
is
Yeah,
even
yeah.
solidified. They've done countless mock drafts. Like they've done countless of them, and obviously, I think this year is the exception, especially when it comes to quarterback, because like there were like we've kind of been blessed with in like the last handful of years, like, hey, we know this quarterback is QB1 of this class, so on and so forth. They're really like Fernando Mendoza really didn't establish himself. Uh-oh. Like Fernando Mendoza really didn't establish himself as QB1 in my opinion until it looked like Indiana was
Yeah.
like for real. And obviously like it's like shit happens and so on and so forth. Um, yeah, that's the craziness of it because I
Yeah.
you can't sit here and tell me that they had Mansour getting picked sixth overall, or they had Jeremiah Love going
Oh,
number 3,
I think people did
right?
have that. I think people did have that. I think Matt James. We actually we had did Mac James. He had that as in part of his
But
mock.
then
But
but then you have a guy like Dan Orlovsky who was after he watched I don't know how many hours it take. When he came, like when he first said Ty Simpson's a first round quarterback, people laughed at him. Like people at his, like he's on
man,
First Take
he
and
got he
he's on
got he got
NFL
he got
Live
shredded on the Pat McAfee show. Let me
and he's
tell you.
on Get Up and he's on the Pat McAfee show. He's like, yo, he's like Ty Simpson's a first round quarterback, and
But I always
I
thought he
was
was going to be a first round. Like, I thought it was ridiculous that people thought he wasn't going to be a first rounder. Like, even back a couple weeks ago when Pat McAfee was giving him a hard time. What did I ever think he was a better prospect than Mendoza? Because that was his argument. It
that
wasn't
was
that
his
he was.
argument.
It wasn't that he wasn't going to go. It wasn't that he wasn't going to go first round. It's that he was the best quarterback in this draft class. And obviously that remains to be seen. But as a prospect, there's no way you could put Ty Simpson over Fernando Mendoza just based on body of work alone.
And hey, for a brief moment, right? Dan Orlovsky got to say, "F you, Pat McAfee, and everybody else who said I was crazy.
Well,
I'm
you
here.
you
I
could
am."
say you could say f you to Pat McAfee with lots of stuff. So,
Yeah,
and then
yeah, yeah.
before we get into the actual draft, I also had the city of Pittsburgh as a winner. I thought that they really showed out for this particular for the draft performance.
Mhm.
I thought everything about it just was very cool. And then I also applauded the new 8 minute pick timer, and you probably wanted it to be even less than 8 minutes.
Yeah,
Uh,
you don't. Yeah, 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 yeah. Like
yeah,
I David
but
again
I mean, but
to the people who are watching this, and if you watch this later, David has known me for well over a decade. The one thing I loathe, like you've especially if you like a top 10 team, you don't need all that. You know who you've been wanting for months. You also have some inkling of how the draft board is going to fall. So like I understand you have a plan, like, hey, if this guy's here, we're gonna take him, but if he's not here, we're gonna take this guy, so on and so forth. like Vegas didn't need 8 minutes to go out there and say, "Hey, we're selecting Fernando Mendoza." You know who you wanted. Like I think the quickest I ever saw it was literally when the Bears drafted Caleb Williams. The minute Roger Goodell said his opening spiel, and like now the Bears are on the clock.
Well,
2 minutes. Two
Trevor,
minutes
Trevor,
later.
Trevor Lawrence was taken pretty quick too.
That
With
was
the
pretty quick
Jaguars,
too. That was a quick one too.
pretty quick. But yeah, let's talk about some actual player stuff. Let's start with the positive side. Actually, you want to do negative side first, and then go to positive, or how do you want to do this?
It does not matter. It does not
Let's.
matter.
Maybe we could just mix it up a little bit. We'll do
Okay.
like like the compliment sandwich. Let's start with a winner. TJ, give me a winner.
I'll give. I think the Jets had a nice draft. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I mean, taking David Bailey, arguably the best prospect in this draft, and then grabbing Amari Cooper Jr. to give some help to Garrett Wilson later, and trading back into the first round. I think they did a nice job.
I like what they did.
I'll give you the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know you could kind of see the pain in Reuben Bain Jr.'s face when he fell all the way to 15. But Reuben Bain Jr., you're going to an excellent football spot for you. You're going to go to a spot where you're going to be able to make contributing plays on a team that should be in the playoff hunt next season. And the top 10 picks. I mean, maybe we could talk about the Saints being potentially a playoff team next year, but I think it's a lot of we don't know. And Reuben Bain, you're going to go to a good city, you're going to go to a good franchise, and you go to a team that's probably going to be competitive next year, and a team that has other pieces around you. They still have Vita Vea, he's still on that roster. You're not going to see double teams. You should dominate as a rookie. You go to an excellent football place, and yeah, it may be a bummer that you didn't go 50, you didn't go in the top 10, but we're talking about this 5 or 6 years from now. Nobody's going to care that, you fell to 15. Like you thought you'd be a fringe top 10 pick. It's not going to matter. Just go in there, hit your head up. Because you heard your name called, unlike a lot of people that.
Unlike a lot of people. I like what Cleveland did, getting KC Concepcion for Shador Sanders. They had a decent first
I didn't
round.
necessarily love the Fano pick over Mwaga, but Mawagoa. But I mean, you had to get some help like on that offensive line for Shador Sanders if you're going to give him a legitimate shot at being the quarterback at that football team franchise wise. You needed an offensive tackle, you needed a wide receiver. You address both those needs.
And I also hold on, I'm pulling it up right now because stop that.
Well, let's swing to the other side real quick.
Dallas.
Dallas. Man. Let's go.
Oh man. Hey, like this
for them to get Caleb Downs at 11 is an absolute steal. He should be an absolute plug and play Kyle Hamilton alpha safety for the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, I wasn't as crazy about their other pick, the Malachi Lawrence. Like most people had them on their big boards in the late 60s. So it felt like a reach, but to get Caleb Downs.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. Like obviously like Dallas had the same issue that Cincinnati had this past season. Like they were literally mirror opposites of each other. They had offensive firepower out the yin yang, right? They dropping 28, 30 points a game, but their defense is giving up 35. We literally saw a game against the Green Bay Packers and the Cowboys. The shit ended in a 40-40 tie, bro, because nobody could stop anybody, right? So, yeah, you get a Caleb Downs who literally falls into your lap as a day one starter. Like, I'm there. I am in no way, shape, or form am I thinking Caleb Downs makes it out of the top 5.
In my most recent mock, I had him going 5 to the Giants.
Like when Kansas City traded, like when the Giants drafted Arvell Reese, and we'll get to that because and the Chiefs traded up into the top 10. When they traded up, I'm like, oh, that's got to be Caleb. That's got to be Caleb Downs. He's gonna go to Kansas City, and Eric Berry 2.0 type shit, right? Because Eric Berry was great for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, and then they got Mansour Delane.
They
addressed a major need for them as well. But going back to Dallas for just a quick second, because they traded up 2 spots or 1 spot actually to get Caleb Downs from the Miami Dolphins. But in a very savvy move, they also basically got that draft capital back that they used to trade up when they traded back down with the Philadelphia Eagles to go from 20 to 23. They basically recovered any draft capital they lost in that trade, and they basically probably got the guy they were going to take anyways.
And I like the Chargers, like Akeem Messidor falling all the way to them at 22. That's like you can argue like that's a steal. We can talk about like the passing of the torch because Khalil Mack has been in like his name, like they've kind of had questions about him, like not his play style, like not his playing, obviously, but Khalil Mack getting up there. Like I think Khalil Mack is on a year-to-year basis where like, hey, I might retire this year, I might not. So I took that as them saying we're just gonna cover our bases in the event that Khalil Mack does get hurt or retires. We are prepared and we're not scrambling. He has a year, bare minimum. He has at least a year with one of the greatest pass rushers this game has ever seen.
I mean, he's also got the benefit of spending the last 2 seasons with was it Jason Taylor as his
coach.
Yeah, his coach. I mean, if there are 2 guys you want to learn how to be edge rushers from, those are pretty high numbers on the list. Yeah, and I guess we'll just stay on the positive side of things, and then we'll go negative. I'm not crazy about the Arvell Reese pick for the Giants because I think they have a lot of guys that are going to get after the quarterback, but he is the best player arguably in this draft. And I don't think because you have a Kayvon Thibodeau on your roster or because you took Abdel Carter last season that you should be passing, or you have Brian Burns on your roster currently.
Yeah, that's why they're losers to me because how does he fit in the mix? Like, are you going to move him to linebacker?
I think you'll move. I think you might move Kayvon Thibodeau inside, or he might not be in your future plans at all. Because I mean, he hasn't really been what you guys thought he'd be when you took him 3 years ago. And I think Abdul Carter is a little too early to even make a decision on. I mean, you can never have enough edge rushers, and Arvell Reese falls to you at 5. I mean, but most people in their mock drafts had him going somewhere in the first 3 picks. I mean, he's just sitting there at 5. He's arguably the most athletic, gifted prospect in this draft. I just don't think you can pass him up. And then you get Francis Moigoa later as a guy who's going to be the anchor on your offensive line, either at right tackle or left tackle, wherever you're going to play Andrew Thomas or if he's ever healthy again. Because Evan Neal hasn't worked out. He's probably not going to even pick up his
Andrew Thomas hasn't worked out. So like
Andrew Thomas has been good when he's been healthy. He just hasn't been healthy that much.
He just hasn't been healthy.
And I like what the Giants did. I think at some point you got to be like, okay, we understand that Arvell Reese isn't necessarily a need for our roster, but he's too good of a football player to pass up.
See, like this is different than when Washington put that front together all them years ago, because like it was like a year by year thing, right? You go Montez Sweat, then you go Jonathan Allen, and then you go Deron Payne, and then who am I missing?
It was Chase Young.
Yeah, Chase Young. Yeah.
But I also agree with you. But like these, because this is also different because the 4 guys that they already have all virtually play the same position. Unless you're going to put Arvell Reese at linebacker, which seems like a waste of a top 5 pick because he's built to get after the quarterback. He could be the next Micah Parsons. But I think Kayvon Thibodeau probably not in your future plans. Maybe they're going to trade him at some point during the draft.
Which is kind of insane to me because you can't sit here and tell me like when they first said Kayvon Thibodeau,
and he hasn't been healthy really either. So
no, but like if you're shopping Kayvon Thibodeau, like I understand like you're gonna want at least what you spent on him. So you spent the first round pick on him, right?
Yeah.
But and again, I always say that you got what I want. I'm asking for something. I'm leaving with something. Shout out to Denzel. It's at the same time you also have to ask yourself, if I can't get this first round pick, one, does he warrant a first round pick? Does the product warrant a first round pick? You look at Kayvon Thibodeau's numbers and it's no. Not really.
No, they're for sure going to take an L on if they decide to trade him away. They're looking at maybe a 3rd round pick at best. And man, if I'm the Bears, I would think about giving up a 3rd round pick to try to get Kayvon Thibodeau. I'd see if maybe just a change of scenery could do him a lot of good in the new location. But yeah, I like what the Giants did. I mean, I think that you're going to figure out all that stuff later, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
and then from there, I have some positions and some other like non team related stuff that I have as winners. I don't know if you have any more winners. Because you took my Cowboy one, and then I have some position stuff, and then I have a person, and I have a college team.
Do I have any more? I don't hate what the Dolphins did. Like,
I can't, man. I gotta disagree with you. I think Caden Proctor
excuse me. God,
at
sneeze.
I completely realize that they have a major need at offensive tackle. I just think that Caden Proctor, there was better prospects available at that point in the draft. Caden Proctor may end up becoming the best offensive tackle in this draft, so I may end up eating my words at the end of the day. But I think if you're Miami, you trade down one pick, you get a couple extra picks, and I just think they could have done something different. I think they could have gone a different direction, but you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, yeah, and then we already said Kansas City to. I'm kind of with you. Like, I think Mansour Delane would have been there at 9.
I mean, maybe. I mean,
No, because
but
looking. No, 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 no. Because looking at how the board fell. If you're Washington, I don't think you take them.
well, I mean,
Eric,
they do need a corner, and now that Jeremiah Love is no longer on the board, I mean, the corner becomes one of their major needs. Given that Marshawn Lattimore, we don't know what his status is going to be like for next season, given the injury that he sustained.
yeah,
The Saints could easily have taken a corner at number 8. 6, yeah, Cleveland probably weren't going to take a corner given their secondary, but Washington Saints, they must have gotten some intel that one of those two teams was going to take Mansour Delane. And I agree with you. Yeah, I think if you're the Chiefs, I think you just live with him not making it to you.
yeah.
But I mean, you lose because you lose both your corners in the offseason and you lose a starting safety. I and when you look at the draft capital that they gave up, it wasn't that much. Like they gave up like an extra 3rd round pick. I mean, it was for a team that needs to win now. I mean, if Mansour Delane ends up becoming the best corner in this draft, it won't matter.
Like the whole win now thing is kind of still in. I ain't gonna say in limbo because it's not like you're gonna have Pat Mahomes for like at least the first month of the season.
Yeah,
That's Justin Fields playing quarterback like you. So
yeah, probably. And
no, no, ain't no,
just
no, probably like that's who it's gonna be.
moving on from there. So first of all, we got running backs. It was many moons ago. It feels like running backs were basically damaged goods when it comes to the NFL draft. Now we have 2 go in the first round this year. We had 1 go in the top 3. That's definitely a different, like especially when we talk about the offseason we just saw with some running backs getting some legitimate paydays. I think the value of running backs has kind of shifted over the last 2-3 years. Offensive linemen, I think, were a huge winner. 11 offensive linemen off the board in this particular draft. That's some beef coming off the board there. So out of 32 picks, 11 of them were played offensive linemen to some extent, either in the interior or outside. And then I also have the Ohio State Buckeyes as huge winners. I mean, they basically dominated this draft. I think 4 of the first 11 picks came from Ohio State, and the creme de la creme of their position group in this particular draft came from the Ohio State Buckeyes. And then my last winner is, if you really want to get out of Philadelphia, AJ Brown. They've kind of laid the groundwork for you as they get a steal, in my opinion, to Mekhi Lemon at number 20. People had him potentially being a top 15 to 10 pick in this particular draft, and now he goes to 20 for the Philadelphia Eagles, and it kind of lays the groundwork there. If they're going to trade AJ Brown away, I think we could see that. I think we could see that at some point this weekend. If that alleged rift between him and Jalen Hurts is what it's been reported.
I don't think it's Jalen. I don't think it's him and Hurst. I think it's AJ Brown and the
maybe.
coaching. I think it's Sirianni. I think it's whoever the OC was that they let go. because
Yeah.
his play calling was very elementary. It's like it after a while it gets what is it, 5 different offensive coordinators in 5 years or some shit like that, because every coordinator leaves and becomes
Yeah.
a coach and
I mean,
so
but if
on.
you have if you play on a good offense, unfortunately, that's just gonna be the way it is, man. Mike Evans has gone
I
through the
mean,
same thing. You don't hear as much noise until he
not
left.
not not really. You
Yeah,
know, like
I mean, Mike Evans he's had a different offensive coordinator the last 3 seasons.
yeah, that's three. So like that means like the first eight, or at
Yeah, I
least
mean,
like
I'm pretty sure he had to have had different. I mean, I don't have there, but it must have been a couple seasons there, 4 or 5 seasons in a row. But Mike Evans is not the same player and human being that AJ Brown is. I mean,
what if we're
I barely even know what Mike Evans sounds like. Like
if
what
we're
he
go so we stand on losers. I know we ain't supposed to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Mike Vrabel, you're a loser. You're a loser for like nothing draft related. You're just a fucking loser. You're a loser of a human being. You're a loser. I'm
and
not
then
gonna elaborate.
from there, let's go and swing back into the NFL draft. And yeah, I have a loser in the Miami Dolphins. I think the Caden Proctor pick was just way too early, for my
I
opinion.
disagree.
He's
Priority number one now becomes protecting Malik Willis. That's what you do. Like
I hear you. I just think he could have. I think they could have. There could have been a better prospect they could have taken. But if he ends up becoming an All-Pro offensive tackle, it won't matter what my terrible opinion is. You know, when he was first taken. So, congratulations to him on getting drafted. But I think the Dolphins probably should have gone a different direction. I think they still need to get wide receivers around Malik Willis, and hopefully they address that today. In the draft. And
I
then
mean,
from the Dolphins, I mean, there's no way you can say that the Rams, and if you've not seen the Sean McVay presser, is how mad he looked. The fact that they took a quarterback at number 13. And yes, I understand that Matthew Stafford signed off on this decision, but
mhm.
not like he had any other decision. Like, it's like, oh, we're just going to call and tell you, like,
No,
because we're doing it anyways.
no. See. That's where you're wrong. Quarterback. Hey, if a quarterback of that stature, so like the Aaron Rodgers, the Matthew Staffords,
And
the uh,
you know what else is funny about Aaron Rodgers? Now that did he say he was going to have a? Did they come out and say he was going to have a decision before the draft?
see, and
Where
again,
is that?
like
Where is that?
that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. That's a
That's Aaron Rodgers being
com-
Aaron Rodgers.
that's Aaron Rodgers, man. Aaron Rodgers. That's one of them. You can't get like you if you fall for it, you did it to yourself. Like you get what I'm saying, bro? Like,
Yeah.
so if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and you don't go quarterback in this draft because you're waiting for Aaron Rodgers to make up his fucking mind and you're stuck with the bottom of the barrel at quarterback again, you did it to yourself. You have no one to blame but yourself.
Man, you think right that would be like, hey, last time we waited for a veteran just retired on us. We basically have been we basically yeah, we still won games and made the playoffs, but we had like Duck Hodges playing football for us. Like there should be a plan in Pittsburgh. It just never seems like there is one.
There's never is one, and there
And
hasn't been.
not to mention, I mean, yeah, they reached on their draft pick as well. But the Rams, I mean, but it's just circling back to it. This is a team that's ready to win the Super Bowl. They this year. I mean, you could have gotten them a piece, especially with a pick that they're not going to have a top 13 pick next year. And that's probably went into the thought process of taking Ty Simpson here. But like, hey, we're probably going to be like either in the NFC Championship game or in the Super Bowl next year. And so maybe we won't have an opportunity to take a quarterback of this caliber next year when the draft class is quote unquote loaded, even though we thought this one was going to be loaded and ended up only two quarterbacks ended up going in the first round. And people at the beginning of the season, there was the kid from Clemson that people were super high on. There was the kid from LSU that people were super high on. I know Arch Manning, if he had played well, could have came out and like been a top 10 pick ish or top, first round pick. And so those things just didn't work out. And so you're like, hey, maybe this is our opportunity to get our guy, get our heir apparent. But this is a Rams team that it should be looking to win now. The future is irrelevant. I mean, this is a Rams team that trades away first round picks like they're candy. They don't care
Well, they
about the
can't do that
future.
now. They can't do that now. They cannot. They cannot do that now. I think that Matthew Stafford injury kind of that shook them a little bit. Like
I mean, but
now,
he just came
no,
off
no, no,
winning
no.
the
But
Super Bowl.
hold on. To be fair, right? Did we see Matthew Stafford lighten shit up the way he did? Did we see that coming?
No,
No,
of course not.
no, because but like that's why, and that's really the only reason why people are having this opinion, this strong reaction to Ty Simpson being drafted at 13, because the guy that the quarterback at 38 years old literally just won MVP. Literally just won it. Literally had one of the hottest streaks
Yeah.
in NFL history. He went 2 months, maybe more, 2 calendar months without throwing an interception. It was insane. It was beautiful. It helped my fantasy team out a lot, and so on and so forth. But what if it's the flip side, right? What if he has a not Matt Ryan? What if he has a Kirk Cousins type of descend, right? Coming off that injury that he had, coming off that offseason back injury that he had. What if he comes in, right? He looks okay the first few games, then all of a sudden fucking nosedive. 0 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, or whatever the hell Kirk Cousins did that year in Atlanta. Then taking Ty Simpson makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
Not to mention their backup in Jimmy Garoppolo is also considering
Retirement.
retiring.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's 37 too. I understand where you're coming from, and I get it. I just personally didn't like it. I would have probably have. It's even like the fact that we took him at 13. Like if the Rams have been able to trade back in this draft and like ticket him later, even though they may not have been able to, nobody's maybe not calling them about that decision. But I think that they could have. There's other things. I wouldn't have taken a quarterback if I was the Rams. I think I would have taken a flyer on the kid from LSU later in the draft. I think I would have taken a flyer. I don't know if the kid from Clemson came out, but I would have taken a flyer on him over using a first round pick on this.
I don't have a problem with it.
But yeah, with that being said, I mean, you have to plan for the future. Matthew Stafford could hang him up next season. And then another loser for me is the Vikings taking Caleb Banks. And nothing against Caleb Banks. He can't. When he was on the football field at Florida, the game tape is bananas. Like the dude is just crazy athletic and just out of this world. But the problem is he's not on the field all that much because he was dealing with various nagging injuries. If he can like get right and be healthy, he's going to be one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. But if he follows what his college career looked like, it's going to be a waste of a pick at 18.
I mean, like if you're the Lions, for me, like I feel like you've had a lot of offensive line turnover, especially like the last 3 years. You've had guys retire, and then you had that same guy try to come back. Then he failed his physical. Then it's like, well, I'm just gonna stay retired, right? Like that. You had guys retire due to injury. It's been a lot of turnover for the Detroit Lions, and this just felt like a safe pick, right? Like this is like, hey, we're just gonna get back to the basics. We're gonna rebuild this thing how we built it in the first place. We're gonna go trenches, and then we're gonna go from there. Uh, speaking of safe, like speaking of like the safest of safe picks, Bears at 25. Getting getting Thiedemann at 25 is like, yeah, like that's like the safest of safe picks. He he comes right in. He should literally start day one. He fits immediately. And if you watched a lot of the games, if you watched a lot of the Bears games last season, which David and I did, yes, some of those last minute comebacks, those 8 or 9 comeback wins, some of them aren't necessary if the defense doesn't give up points in
Yeah.
in the manner that they did, bro. You look at some of the ways that led to those touchdowns. It's a lot of over the top. It's a lot of like catch and go, like just receivers, really fast receivers running drag routes or post routes, and they just getting behind them. And I love Jaquan Brisker. I loved him when we drafted him. Saw what he did at Penn State. When I say dude is a head hunter, he's a head hunter. But what comes with being a head hunter? Concussions. Jaquan had a lot of those. He had quite a few of those in his time here in Chicago. I wish him nothing but the best in Pittsburgh. Coverage was like Jaquan Brisker wasn't the best in coverage, but he was decent. He was okay, but he got burnt a lot. And like so, yeah, some of them comeback wins don't happen if the defense can tackle right then and there. Like that first game against the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. What's what Josh Jacobs breaks like 5 tackles and scores. We tackle him right then and there. That's probably the game. That's the
Yeah,
game right there.
yeah,
So and on top of that, like they already said they came out and said it. Dennis Allen, Ryan Poles, like, hey, we want to get younger and faster on defense. It Dan Thieneman runs a 4-3.
yeah.
Like that's
I mean, the
come
dude was
on.
a combine darling. The reason he jumped off the draft boards, and they kind of got him as a steal. I mean, I had in most of my mock drafts, I had him going to the Vikings at 17 or whatever they had in this draft, and so to get to him at 25, that's pretty good value. Um,
Like,
yeah. Then for me, another small loser. This is awfully minor, and this is just kind of just being like a. It's unfortunate that a guy who's this talented is going to have to go to this franchise right now because they just don't have the stuff around him to really capitalize on how skilled he is. And it's Jeremiah Love going to the Cardinals. And no disrespect to Jacoby Brissett. He is what he is at this point in his career. Surprisingly, threw for over 400 yards this most recent season. But, I mean, their offensive line has kind of been in shambles. They have a bunch of other running backs on the roster that are all going to have to figure out what they're going to do with them. I imagine James Conner will probably get released. They just signed Tyler Algier to a decent contract, so he could be the change of pace guy, kind of the role he had when he was in Atlanta, backing up Bijan Robinson. I mean, it's got to be kind of a bummer for him. You kind of think you're going to go to Arizona and you get this expanded role, and then they draft a running back in the first round, which is tough. But I mean, the offensive line has kind of been in shambles. I mean, Michael Wilson has kind of emerged as wide receiver one. You haven't really gotten what you thought you'd get out of Maserati Marv, and you have the best tight end in the NFL when it comes to just pass catching tight end in the NFL and Trey McBride. But I think it'll be interesting to see what he looks like in Arizona, given that offensive line and the quarterback play that we expect in Arizona in the desert this upcoming season.
no, Maserati Mob. Okay, so yeah, the Arizona Cardinals definitely a loser. You have no plan at quarterback. Jacoby Brissett is not even there right now because Jacoby Brissett, and I don't blame him one bit. Hey, bro, get your motherfucking bread. He wants a starting quarterback contract, and he's telling Arizona, you're not gonna keep treating me like a placeholder if you're gonna rely on if you're going to be relying on me in the fashion that you are. If you're gonna if you making me a starter, damn it, pay me like a starter. I ain't no, I've been here. I like ever since I've been here, Kyler Murray been in and out the lineup. And when y'all need some goddamn help, who y'all call? You call me. So I'm not gonna keep being no more placeholder. Pay me my bread, pay me my bread.
Yeah, I mean, that situation gets even worse if Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback of this football team because I don't know who else is on the roster. So
I don't know who's there. Like I don't know who else is there. I really don't. And so like the second round just started, and the Niners went receiver out of Ole Miss. He goes Deshaun Stribling. So yeah, he's a Niner. The Cardinals are on the clock at 34. Their pick is in.
So yeah, real quick
been announced yet.
before we wrap up here, I'll just give you my two best and worst picks, in my opinion, in this draft so far. My best pick, I think, has been Reuben Bain to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think he's an absolute steal at 15. The dude has top 5 talent and he goes to 15 to a good football situation. Worst pick, in my opinion, is Ty Simpson to the Rams. I don't like it. I just think that this team should be building for a Super Bowl run. I don't think you should be planning for the future, and that's just me.
Oh, so you just hate you really hate the Ty Simpson pick, bro. Like you
It's not Ty Simpson. It's just the position and the team that made it. Because I think the Rams, if you could add another offensive lineman to this team and really bolster up, I mean, you have a top 13 pick that you got because of the Falcons. It's not your own first round pick. You got that pick because you traded with the Falcons last draft, and you had an opportunity here to really bolster your offensive line and really make a push for a Super Bowl run. And instead, you plan for the future. I just don't like it. And I have some real quick final winners, TJ. And this one goes out to everybody. Anybody who heard their name called in the first day of the NFL draft, anybody who's going to hear their name during the next 2 days of the NFL draft, and anybody who signs the dotted line as an unrestricted free agent, and anybody who goes on to play spring football, you all are winners. You all are realizing your dreams. Maybe there's different levels to this, but if you're playing professional football at any level, you've accomplished something that many people only dream of. So kudos to you. You're all winners in my book, and you're all winners here at Prime Sports World.
And then they go offense. They go guard at pick 34. That's a big dude. That's 6'5", 315. That is a massive human being. All right. Best picks. Obviously, like I said, I like what the Bears did at 25. That's just me being a homer. I agree with you on the Ruben Bain pick to Tampa. Obviously, like he was supposed to, I ain't gonna say supposed to, but he was mocked a lot higher than 15. He was mocked at least top 5 by a lot of people. Then some stuff comes out about his some off the field issues and
also arm length and some BS like that.
yeah, like some real trivial shit that don't really matter as much now. Like these again, like everybody's saying his arms are too small. Yeah, they also said Aaron Donald was too small to be a DT, and he goes on to have
he's going to be in Canton first ballot.
He's going to be in Canton.
If he's not already in Canton, I don't remember how long ago he retired. It feels like a while.
And like and they're talking about getting rid of that rule. Like, hey, some guys shouldn't have to wait, right? Like Aaron Donald was one of them dudes. Like he shouldn't have to wait. Worst picks. Oh, what would be my worst? What would be my worst pick? I would have to give that to. Let's see. I would have to give that to. Maybe Arvell Reset 5. Just because, like, again, like I understand that you can never have too many edge rushers or pass rushers, but to me, like, if you're the Giants, you already got a bevy of them. Like, unless you're moving some of them, and by some I just mean one. Unless you're like moving Kayvon Thibodeau out off to greener pastures.
Or you're moving him inside. Like I don't necessarily disagree with you. That wasn't a great pick, and I will be interested because we're gonna probably have Christian on the show on Tuesday. What his opinion is on that pick, because I think Sonny Styles would have made a lot more sense, and letting Arvell Reese continue to fall.
I also kind of like I'm scratching my head at the where is it the Ravens pick at 14. Like I understand protect Lamar Jackson or Snoop Huntley or whoever's playing quarterback for you on that particular Sunday. But the issue for Baltimore has always been who the hell's catching the ball. Like a part of the reason why Baltimore has struggled the way that they have, and especially in the postseason, is because Lamar don't have that. Like he's outside of Mark Andrews, and there's no disrespect to him. Isaiah Likely's gone now, right?
Yeah.
And he in New York, right?
And they got whatever's left of DeAndre Hopkins, and they got Zay Flowers.
Who the hell catching the ball? Like Omar,
Safe Flowers is pretty good, but
and it's no, and again, it's no disrespect to him, but you let a division rival get KC Concepcion, who's a who would help Lamar Jackson out tremendously. You let the Jets. I mean, like you passed on Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end out of Oregon. You passed on him. Makai Lemon fell to 20. You could have got him.
I think that's the way they should have gone with that pick. But I mean, obviously you lose. That name is not coming to me right now. But I mean, you try to replace him with whoever's with somebody else that's going to play the same position or similar in Vega Iona. I don't necessarily disagree with you on that one. But I guess we will see as more players are hearing their name called here today. Congratulations to everybody. Again, if you're going to hear your name called, if you're going to be an undrafted free agent, and if you end up going to play some spring football, you're all winners in my book. And you're all winners here at Prime Sports World. TJ, did you watch that Akeem Butler highlights I sent you?
Yeah,
those two clips, because man, so Harrison Frost in the UFL, just real quick. So he had 6 completions in the entire game, which is why they traded for Mr. Spring Football, right? The Spring King. He had 6 completions. One of them was just an absolute. Akeem Butler. Akeem Butler's down there somewhere. I'll just fucking throw it out there and he'll get it. And then the other one is a touchdown where Akeem Butler stiff armed like 3 people in the way of the end zone. Like that guy is just a man among boys. It should be playing on Sundays for in the National League.
Again, Akeem Butler was in the NFL. I forgot who drafted him first. It didn't work. Then the next time you see him, he's on the Jets, and the Jets. This is when the Jets. Well, they're still a dumpster fire. They're still at the bottom of the barrel. But they tried to convert him to tight end.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you doing? It's like what on God's green earth says, hey, Hakeem Butler, we're going to put you at tight end.
But anyways, let's leave it here nor there. We can talk a little more UFL action next week. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us here at Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as we are going to be swinging into our WWE content tomorrow. We're going to talk about both nights of WrestleMania, including my overall experience of being at night number 2. And then we're going to talk a little bit of what happened on Monday and what is going on in a couple hours at SmackDown as we have recap WrestleMania week. If you didn't get a chance to watch everything, we will tell you what went down. And then next week, we're going to jump into NFL, UFL, WWE content. As we give you guys consistent content here at Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm David On Point Huffman, and right there is Mr. TJ Hopkins. And TJ, what would you do at the Prime, my friend?
To piss David off, we draft kickers.
Somebody draft a kicker?
No.
Oh, all right. We'll be back here tomorrow. You guys all stay safe out there and have a good weekend if I don't see you before then. Peace out.
See you, man.